Sergio Perez's career has been reaching new highs since he was a race away from leaving the sport altogether in 2020. At Red Bull, he has found new life and has been providing the team everything they need from Max Verstappen's teammate. Second places and following team orders isn't enough for any F1 driver though, and with the rest of the grid apparently a long way off Red Bull's pace, Checo could be Max's main competitor this season. Is he ready to take his chance, or is he going to play the role of wingman like Bottas did for Hamilton? Why don't you stick around to find out? At the end of day 3 of testing, Sergio Perez sat atop the timing sheet. He'd spent all day doing laps in the RB19, which looks by far the best car on the grid. It isn't just the timing sheet that's made Red Bull the early season favourites though. On track, the car is doing everything the drivers are asking of it. So far, it's completely reliable, and every member of the team that comes on camera exudes confidence. There could still be a twist in the tail before the lights go out in Bahrain, but at the moment, the draft script of the season begins with Red Bull on top. Considering Max Verstappen's performance last year, it would be mental to think that anyone could challenge him in the same machinery. But this isn't the same car as last year. The RB19 is a different beast with different characteristics. Last season, Checo was pretty competitive for the first half of the season. He secured a win in Monaco and took second places with ease. But as the RB18 developed, the front end became pokier, and the oversteer started to become a problem for him. Both of those traits are something Max loves in a car. In fact, Verstappen has gone as far as to say that if a car isn't oversteering, then it can't be competitive. If a driver has the skill to control that oversteer, then he believes that will always make for a faster car. That's fair enough, and there is evidence to back that up, but Checo definitely isn't on the same opinion. He prefers a car that's more of a balanced drive. As the RB18 developed last year, he became less and less comfortable in the car, and his results showed that. From Austria on, that's 12 races, he got 1 win and 4 other podiums. In the 10 races before Austria, he got a win and 5 other podiums. If the Honda engine hadn't imploded in Bahrain, it would have been another podium as well. So his task over the winter was to help the team develop the RB19 in a way that would suit him more. Apparently, it worked, and Checo believes this year's RB19 is more suited to his driving style, having bemoaned last year's upgrades favoured his teammate Max Verstappen. The driver claimed more than once that the updates favoured Verstappen, saying, "I think the way we developed the car was more in Max's direction." Red Bull denied this, motorsport advisor Helmut Marko saying that's nonsense, before adding that the only reason Red Bull upgraded the car was to lower its weight, because not much was missing with the aero. I get Checo being annoyed at Red Bull for developing the car more to Max's style, but he can't be that surprised. Max is the best driver on the grid at the moment on form, and as much as it'll hurt Sergio to accept, it was Verstappen with the best chance of winning the championship, so of course Red Bull will favour him. I don't believe Marko saying that the car wasn't developed in Max's direction, to be honest. In the end, Perez finished the season 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, 149 points behind championship winner Verstappen. This season, the 33-year-old is looking forward to improving on his results, confident the RB19 is better suited to his driving style. Asked at the team's launch if he could avoid last year's mid-season slump, he replied, "Yeah, certainly. There are things that we're going to work on. We believe that the car is already going to be better. I've been pushing the team in a certain direction, and we believe we're heading in that direction. But we'll see. Once we get the car, it's all about adapting ourselves to the car and try to maximize it." Perez concedes his side of the garage made mistakes last season, most notably with the setup of the car which cost him performance. Despite both drivers technically driving the same car, it is easy to forget that how the cars are set up can make a huge amount of difference to how they drive. Just look at the difference in how Lewis and George drove for Mercedes early in the season. Same car, different setups. Lewis was terrible, George never dropped out of the top 5. Sergio believes those lessons learned will stand him in good stead for 2023. Learning from the mistakes we did, I think sometimes we took the wrong direction with the setup, and that's very important for us to understand, he said. I think we figured out towards the end of the season what we were doing with the car, so that's been crucial for us. And I think we're heading in the right direction with it. As much as learning from mistakes and setting the car up in his favour will help Checo, he is going to need to make some other changes as well. Verstappen controversially ignored team orders at last year's Sao Paulo Grand Prix when battling for 6th position. At the time, the Dutchman had already secured the driver's title, and Red Bull was focused on securing a first 1-2 in the end-of-year standings. Verstappen declared via team radio that he had previously explained his reasons for not wanting to aid his teammate. although speculation hinted this could have been down to Perez's crash during qualifying in Monaco. Red Bull put on a united front at the season finale in Abu Dhabi, but speaking to Fox Sports Mexico, Perez revealed how close to the surface the topic of team orders remains. "It's always important to work as a team, and obviously if I see that I don't receive support when I need it, I won't give it either," said Perez. "That's obvious, but I don't expect any of that. I think we're very clear about the important thing. It will be a very intense season, surely with 6 cars fighting for the championship. So it will be very important to work as a team in many races. If Checo can break out of his number 2 role at Red Bull, something that's going to be incredibly hard to do, then he might have a chance at fighting Max. The problem is that in the past 2 seasons, he's played as a team player when Red Bull have asked him to. If he can be more like Carlos Sainz, who ruthlessly took Charles Leclerc's first place at Silverstone, despite the team telling him not to, then he might be able to fight. If he tries and succeeds, it would be even more impressive than Nico Rosberg's win in 2016, when he put Hamilton to the sword. If he tries and fails though, it'll be the end of his time at Red Bull. So the only question that remains is, can he succeed? Is his talk of a better car setup and not being Verstappen's wingman anymore going to mean anything on track? I think, on what we've seen on track of the two together at Red Bull, the answer is no. Based on what the numbers suggest, it's definitely a no. And if Red Bull have anything to say about it, it's going to be 3 no's and goodbye to Sergio Perez. As Red Bull boss Christian Horner put it, the team needs Perez to strive to beat his teammate, but at the end of the day accept that he has one job to do, and that's to help win the Constructors' title. The Briton said that Verstappen is the man to beat. He's the reigning world champion, and Checo has to strive for that. Otherwise, why is he competing? But I think the reality is, all the probability is Max over the season is likely to be the more likely candidate for the World Championship. But Checo also, he has the capability to be right there, and we need both drivers performing at the best of their ability for the Constructors' Championship. Horner clearly doesn't have faith in Checo beating his teammate, and why should he? In 2021, Perez bagged 1 race win to Verstappen's 10. Last year, it was 2 to his teammate's 15. This year, the numbers will, with all probability, again favour the Dutchman. If the RB19 is as good as everyone thinks it is, then the only competitor Checo will have for the title is his teammate. But bar some miracle for the Mexican, or catastrophe for his teammate, that's going to be a battle he can't win. We love Checo as much as any fan. Off track, he has a great personality. He's warm and welcoming, entertaining in front of the camera and full of insightful things to say. On track, he's vicious and nasty, and when he's wheel-to-wheel racing, he's one of the best. But in terms of raw lap time, the most important thing in Formula 1, he just isn't a match for Verstappen. His choice this season then is to fight Max for the championship. One last mighty hurrah, before being replaced at the end of the season for causing issues in the team. A noble way to end your career for sure. Or to play wingman to Max, pick up a race win or 2 when he can, and cash in on a few more years of big paychecks. If I was Checo, I know what I would pick, but maybe he's earned enough money already. Maybe leaving the sport in a blaze of glory is all he wants now. And if he is lucky, he might just do what Rosberg did all those years ago. Do you think Checo will take the fight to Max? Or will he take on the role of perennial wingman as Bottas once did? Let us know in the comments what you think, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to get all the news as the new season begins. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.